Hey guys, it's Aquila, and this is the Lefty Knitter Podcast, episode 267, and I'm on the ball this episode. Because today is Tuesday, March 4th. I have a finished object to show you. I wove in my ends, took out all my stitch markers, except for my progress keeper, so I could show you guys this, because I finished Hazel's blanket. I guess it really doesn't matter which side, but I was here the last time you guys saw it, and I had to attach the third ball, and I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rows. I got one more row than I predicted. Still awesome. So here it is. Arms lengths. My arms are not fully extended, but this thing is pretty big. It's going to be a nice lap blanket. She is so excited for this. So, the other thing I have to share is, the knitting podcast, crocheting podcast, crafting podcast, all from Baltimore, Maryland. Thank you guys for watching, and welcome back to any people that have been watching me for a while, and welcome to any new people who have found my videos. I appreciate you. New information to share. They're having a crank-in Maryland for the any machines. It doesn't have to be an Earlbacker. For any circular sock machines, it is going to be at it's going to be at a brewery in Crofton, Maryland. So I'm putting that out there. I will remember to put the information down below for where it's at. They are doing it at, the brewery's hosting it, and they're hosting it. They're having it there. No fee at all. There will be a food truck on site. You can bring food with you. They just ask you not to bring, what was the other things? There is a food truck, but they want you to buy stuff from the brewery. I'll get the name of the brewery. That'll all be down below. The other thing they want you to do is, if you're going to be a person there with a machine, they want you to reserve a space. It's on Eventbrite or one of those websites. That way they have a head count, because they need to know how much space. The other thing is they won't have electric for you to use. So if you have a light for your machine, you have to have some sort of power source. So there you go. Also, I didn't mention that this really wasn't following a pattern. I followed just a video tutorial on how to crochet a flat circle. That's all I did. And I posted that probably 2 episodes ago. If I remember, I'll try to also post it down below for this episode. Yeah. I have more news, but do I save it? Or do I just put it all out there today? I should just put it out there. I'm going to put it out there. We have enrolled Hazel in cooking classes. Okay. Long story short, we've had a little bit of extracurricular, we've had trouble finding an extracurricular that she's really into. She's not a sports kid. She did karate for a little bit. She likes music, but not interested enough to take classes. She's doing cooking classes. She had an intro class that she went to. Loved it so much. She loved it so much. So that intro class she got a taste of it, right? She got a taste of how it would all work. And we told her, if you like it, we will enroll you. Because you can be a member of this place, or you can be a non-member. You pay more if you're a non-member, and you don't get a guaranteed spot in a class. She will have a guaranteed spot. She's also getting a chef's jacket with her name on it. I'm so excited. Okay, I'm sorry I'm a little crazy over the moon about it, but it felt so good to hear her talk about it to her grandparents, and I know, and to us, because she's just, I can feel her excitement and it makes me super excited. So, oh my god, okay. I'm like all gushy and gooey. All right, I'm going to give this to her so she can have it. And I'll see you guys in the next clip because I have nothing else to show right now. All right, bye. Let's round up this video. It is Sunday, March 9th. So daylight savings time just happened here in the US. So yeah, we get an extra hour of daylight at the end of the day, which is I'm very excited about. So what have I been working on? Well, let's talk about what I've been working on. I finished John's gloves. Other than the duplicate stitching, he said maybe green because it's your favorite color and you made them for me. And I was like, that's actually really sweet. So they might get green. Let me just get 2 blockers here to put these on because it's easier to show you on blockers. And yeah, they did turn out really well. I should probably put it on the foot side. The leg side is a little thick. So let's put these on. These are the Underwing mitts, and the information will be down below on the designer. The yarn I used, I didn't weigh how much I have left, but I have a decent amount left of the black and the white. This is Magpie Fibers, and it's the quartet base, the fingering quartet. And this is how much I have of each. So I don't have much left of this. This is the color you use more, the background color, I guess. And so, yeah, these will go into my fingering weight scrap bins. And let's show you what I got. So, last time you saw these, this one was done except for the thumb ribbing. They need a block, but, you know. And this one, I was here and I finished all of this, did the thumb, and did the thumb ribbing. So, there we go. We have 2 gloves. They're done. Yeah, I love them. I think they turned out really good. I like the idea of green. I'm not opposed. So, yeah. I've now made these, I think, what, 4 times? 4 times I've said. And each time they are super enjoyable. I love color work. I do enjoy knitting color work. Oh, here's the backs, in case you're interested in the underneath, what looks like. And I did these on a US 1.5. I was worried US 1s were going to be a little too small for the color work for John's hands. So they're done in a US 1.5. So now for me, I would have done them in the 1s, but I was a little worried because they're one size only, right? And the fingering weight really doesn't look bad on a 1.5 at all. I mean, we use that for socks. People use it for socks all the time. So, all right, I need to take some pictures of these, and then maybe I'll update them with the duplicate stitching, because the duplicate stitching goes on the bottom parts here and here. So I need to find maybe a cool green to put on there. So those are, essentially, they're done. I wove in the ends. I didn't block them yet. They need the duplicate stitching, but it's totally fine. All right, let's talk about cranking just a little bit, and then I have a new project I cast on. So I did a live on Saturday, yesterday, with Hazel helping me moderate. She asked the questions so I could continue cranking. It's a little hard to like look at my camera, my phone, while I'm cranking, because it's like kind of like behind me, and it would just be awkward. So she helped me, and I noticed I couldn't get the comments and questions to stay up on my phone, so it was easy for her to just read them for me, and she did great. So I appreciate her so much. She, like, the whole aspect of social media, she doesn't have social media, but she thinks it's very interesting. So if anytime she can like be involved in helping me, she likes to help. So that's where we were. I cranked another pair of socks for John. This is the Patton's Croy Brown Gray Marl. Let's put these on some blockers so you can see them in their full glory. I should have maybe paused and did that. But I have made socks with the Patton's Croy a lot. My cranking video this week was about the markings on the cylinder, and I do appreciate anybody that even watches that doesn't even have a machine and isn't even getting a machine, and I just really do appreciate it. And yeah, So it was pretty awesome. They're very tall, and I did do something a little different on these, so I wanted to just show you all. So here's the socks. Now, it's regarding the toes. Can anybody tell? Can anybody tell? So on this toe, I continued to do the toe and the short rows on the top. I did it on the top, went around, went down to the bottom. No, wait. Sorry. I continued the short rows on the bottom, continued to the top, and Kitchenered here. So the stripes don't continue on the top of the foot, they continue on the bottom. I did my toe on the back side of the machine, which I have done before. I've just not done it a lot. So, not that I felt maybe less confident doing that. So on this one, so the top of John's foot, the yarn continues and doesn't have a break. And then it does short rows here, and I Kitchenered the bottom. He hasn't worn these yet, but I don't think he's going to tell where I Kitchenered. I've gotten... Buy me a cookie. Pat me on the back. I've gotten pretty good at Kitchenering. At least on these I have. So yeah, these are done. These are a fun color. He didn't have this one. So when he bought all that Patton's yarn, this was one of the colors that he didn't buy a duplicate of. So he's getting these. Yeah, those are fun. Those are done. I gotta take pictures of them, so I'm just gonna keep those on the blocker, because the other pair that I cranked, I was asked to maybe demonstrate doing lace. Well, I haven't done a whole lot of lace on my machine, and technically what I'm about to show you isn't quite... I wouldn't consider it quite lace, because it doesn't have any yarn overs or holes like lace does. Oh, so let me get these on the blocker. I did screw up, though. I screwed up. Now, you're not going to be able to tell when I show you from the side. I'm going to show you from the side, though, first. And then we will switch to show you what I did across the front of the leg. Now, this was a video. Michelle Goodrich did it at the Erlbacher Crank-In. And it was a whole different pattern. I only used a slight portion of her pattern. It is free on Erlbacher's website to download. So let's show you the socks. First, here's the socks. This is ColorWae. She is local, ColorWae, W-A-E. I'll try to remember to link that down below, ColorWae. So you can barely tell what I have done. You might be able to see a little bit. It was all hand manipulation done on the machine with transferring stitches to different needles. So essentially, in the way I'm trying to break it down in my head, if you were to do a slip knit or a knit two together, you're essentially taking two stitches to lean one way or the other. So on the machine, I'm taking stitches to lean a certain way. Now with that, because I am taking a stitch off of a needle and putting it on another needle, you then have a needle that's left empty. And in lace knitting, you would create a yarn over to accommodate if you had, say, 10 stitches, you did a slip knit somewhere, you're then down to 9. You can accommodate with a yarn over to create that extra stitch to make your stitch count 10 again, because you would be decreasing a stitch. Now, I guess in some lace, the numbers do change, but on the machine, I didn't want the hole. I didn't want the yarn over look. And so I messed up, though, on one spot, and you'll see that, where I forgot to fill that needle, and it gave the yarn over look. But everywhere else, this needle that was empty here on the edge, I filled it with a purl bump from the neighboring needle. So all of this is done within, this is a center stitch, and then there's 7 stitches on each side. And what I did is the row 1, you're transferring a needle neighbor to the center and this side to the center. Okay. And then every needle out for 7 needles, I'm transferring one over towards the center. Then on this outside, I fill in that hole. Then I do a plain knit row, and then on the next row, row 3, I'm doing only 6 stitches, and then a plain row, and then 5, plain row, 4, and the pattern repeats. Then when I get back down here, I do a plain row, and I start the pattern over again. I apologize. I mean, I wanted to show this one because there is the mistake I made, but it shows the yarn over, like, I call it a yarn over in a sense because the needle is left empty and it creates a hole, which creates kind of the look of a yarn over. I hope I'm explaining this well enough. A lot of people that I think watch are crafters in the sense that they know what a yarn over is and they're hand knitting, so I'm hoping it translates well enough when I'm explaining it here. So I was very intrigued, and I wanted to do this pattern again with the yarn overs on the side to get the whole look, but I didn't do that yet. So what I did do, sorry, this is very long and I'm rambling. I'm very excited because I'm learning new things on my machine, and that's just really exciting for me. So what I did, excuse me, I have this book. I have not a lot of knitting books, and I've gotten books out from the library, which I might have to do again, or maybe look up free lace patterns on Ravelry, because there are charts that you can get that are free, but this has charts for different knitting motifs. It has cables. It goes through a whole gamut. I got this book at Ollie's. It's a bargain superstore. So it has the cabling charts, different stitch charts, then it has lace charts, and then it also has some color work charts. So this has a little bit of everything in it. I essentially looked through the lace part because I want to translate this to my machine. And I skipped over any patterns that had pearls, even though I can do purling because I have my ribber. I wasn't ready for that yet. So I came across what this is called the spider stitch, and I'm going to show you guys the chart. So here's what it looks like, and here's the chart. And so when I was translating what this was just the same thing as if this center piece stayed the same, this stitch in the center, but this stitch moved over one to lean that direction. This stitch moved over one to lean that direction, leaving a yarn over or a hole on my machine of a needle that didn't have yarn on it. So I repeated this, I did it 3 times, so 3 wide. And I repeated it on my machine twice. And I got the look. And I don't know how I would love it actually wearing it as a sock where the whole leg was done like this. Because, well, I don't know if it would be too loose. I think I would have to maybe mess with my tension a little bit, or maybe use Lycra to fully get the sock to fit well. But I'm going to show you. I don't have it blocked, and this is the best way to show you. But I did it. I did it. I am so excited about this. I really am. I'm so excited about it. I wish I could show it better stretched. That's a little better. But I am translating some lace charts into my machine knitting. So I've never done that before. I never thought to do that until somebody prompted me, hey, show us some lace on the machine. And I was like, I don't know enough about lace. And now I'm learning. I'm learning and teaching myself, and I'm very excited about that. So stay tuned for more. I mean, you always are going to be seeing machine cranked items on this channel. But I do keep the cranking part separate, just because I know not everybody's into it. So I do really appreciate all the people that do watch, even though they don't have a machine. I really do appreciate that. Okay, the new cast on. I should have looked up the name of the sweater, but I will put it down below. I think it's just called Simple Stripes. And I ripped out that shawl. If you've been watching for the last couple episodes, I ripped out a shawl that I knew I was never going to work on, and I have cast on a sweater using those colors. It is on tiny, tiny needles, and there are lots of ends. This is the center back, so I'm going to try to show you a little bit. This is not going to be the easiest to show because, like I said, it is still on 16-inch cords, but you get the concept. It's just it's really a plain raglan and the stripes. I love it. I'm so excited. So I am on the last row of the 4th color, and yeah, I'm just gonna keep increasing. I am happy to have a new project. I waited to finish knitting John's gloves because I felt guilt. I'm that person that feels guilty by starting something for myself if I have something for somebody else on the needles. If that makes any sense. So, okay, that's my new cast on. I'll link it down below on Ravelry, and you can look for it there. But I think these colors did go so well together, and I wanted to use them in a project. So here we are. I ripped it out and I started it. I just went for it. All right. Acquisitions. I have no yarn acquisitions, but I am March's prompts. I don't think I talked about this. March's prompts. There is a list that was put out by the New York Times, and it is the most popular books of the 21st century. You can actually find it on Wikipedia. You don't have to go to New York Times. I know not everybody can access that because I can't access it. You only get like so many reads per month unless you have a subscription. But it is on a Wikipedia page. There are a few books on there that I was interested in, so I did pick one. Oh, I'm really only at the beginning of it, and I can't remember exactly the name of the book. I will talk about it in the next episode, so I apologize, but I did pick one. This book was on there, Say Nothing. This is, John's going to read this. We went to a local bookstore yesterday called Greedy Reads in Baltimore, and this is the book about the IRA, the women in the IRA, and it's specifically about 2 women and a certain case of a missing person. So at least the series was mostly about that. This might go more into detail, but it says one of the best books of the year by the Washington Post, the Guardian, the Economist, Wall Street Journal, blah, 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 blah. So, John's going to read this, and I got it on my library app on Libby. It's on hold. It's like a 10-week hold, but that's okay. So we're going to try to kind of read this at the same time. Well, I'm going to listen. He's going to read. You get it. Hazel also got a book. She got a graphic novel. I think it's called Best Friends Pranks or something like that. And it sounded really interesting. And so she's reading that. Oh, I didn't finish March prompts. The other March prompt is a detective book. That's a pretty easy prompt. I actually have quite a few series that I read where they're detectives. So that one will be very easy for me to fill in for my March reads. This book was on my list for last month, because it has a red cover, but the paid app that I use, I don't pay for the next level where I get like credits. I just get any of the stuff that's on there that's part of the subscription I have. This was a paid for an extra, like a credit, and I didn't get it. So, I ended up getting it at Greedy Reads yesterday, and that is The Maid. It's kind of a detective book. I guess it could fit in detective, but it's, a death happens and, they think the maid did it, etc. So I am going to read this. And yeah, I'm excited to at least, it's on my to be read list that I have. I don't have like really a list. I have some on Goodreads that I have marked that I want to read, and I have some in the app that I use that I want to read because they sound interesting, but they're not like, I know some people have like serious TBRs, and I am not that person. I am not a booktuber. I'm just telling you what I'm kind of into right now, or what I am like reading, and talking about the little group that we have's book prompts. So, The Maid. I'm gonna read this. Nita Prose. So, and it's not real long. I'm not very good with paper books. I am that person, if it's not really catching me like 150%, I will fall asleep reading a paper book. Sometimes it's good for me to have on vacations because it gives me something to do in like a 5-minute downtime, 10-minute downtime when we're like in between, or Hazel's still getting ready and I'm already ready, I can pick up like a book. So a lot of times when we do week vacations, I will take a paper book that I own. I don't own many, so sometimes I'm going to the store right before we're going on vacation and picking up, you know, a bestseller, something that I know sounds intriguing and is going to keep my attention. So yeah, there we go. We have been watching Pop Culture Jeopardy. We really enjoy that show. And then we also have been watching, it's on Fox, but we're watching it on Hulu. It's called Extracted. It gives me anxiety. Not like terrible anxiety, but it makes me feel very anxious for the people on the show, because essentially it's like 12 people that are thrown out to survive in the wild, and they can't tap out. They each have 2 family members or friends that are there in headquarters that are pretty much making decisions for them, helping them while they're out, picking what survival items that they can send them. They get like small care packages and they have to pick wisely, and they're the only people that can extract you. Me and John talked about how, you know, do we think we would be able to know each other well enough to decide when it was right to extract the other person? I mean, yeah, it feels a little brutal too, honestly, but I think we're going to finish it out. Because, you know. There's also another show, and it's hosted by Rob Lowe, and that's also on Hulu, and it's on the 3rd season. I think it might be called The Floor. I could be wrong on the name of that. This is interesting in the fact that all these people, I don't know how many squares it starts with. Let's just say 50, because I'm not quite sure. There's 50 people, and they've all picked a topic that they feel like they're proficient in. And they challenge each other based on, if you're on a square, you can challenge the people that are touching your square. So if you are still in your single square, you can challenge one of the 4 people, but the quiz part of it is on the subject of the person you're challenging. So say my topic was knitting, right? But then the 4 people around me were U.S. landmarks, food pantry items, U.S. Olympians, and something else. Like, I would want to pick the one I thought I could beat. And once, you know, if they beat you, like you challenge them and they beat you, their category's gone and they have to inherit your category. It's quite interesting. And there's many times that I'm like answering the quiz part and I'm like, why in the heck did this person pick this as their subject? Because I feel like they're clueless. Like, are they doing it because they think nobody's going to pick them because it's a harder category? Or are they just under pressure? Because, you know, some people under pressure and taking tests and things like that, you're on national television. Like, that makes things harder. Okay, I've talked a lot about lots of different things in these last 20 minutes that I've been recording. So I hope that everybody is taking care of themselves. I hope you are able, if you have the time change and you get more daylight in your after work hours, that you're able to get out and enjoy just a small stroll and just be out in the sun and fresh air and, you know, taking care of the people that you care about and love. And yeah, until then, keep crafting what makes you happy. And yeah, that's it. That's it. Peace, love, and happy crafting, knitting, all the things, y'all.